grew up in Los Angeles. Dennis Prager is my father. And I felt more at home in a broken down trailer, hitting a meth pipe while I'm drunk. Being resentful of the life I have. My name is Aaron Prager, and this is my story. I grew up in Los Angeles, California. I was adopted at birth. Growing up with Dennis as my father, I was very fortunate to have the upbringing that I did. I never wanted for anything. I had nothing to complain about. When I was young, we had my older sister, my older brother, and then me. The age differences between my sister and myself were 16 years, and my brother and I are 9.5, I think 10 years. So by the time I was 8 years old, I was really essentially kind of being raised as like an only child in a way. 9.5. If my father and I disagreed on something, he was 8 years old. He was went back essentially kind of being raised as like an only child. Abraham's allowed to argue with God, and that was his philosophy. He's like, listen, you can do whatever you want, you can't do it here, and you're going to do what I say, but you can argue your points. And he did stand by that. My father did take me to temple, to shul every Saturday. When I was there, I was...
All she like is sex and drugs, sex and drugs, sex and drugs, sex and drugs, Papa Molly.
Religion for me...
Yeah. All she like is sex and drugs.
Resentment against it. My parents divorced when I was 12, 13 years old. No age for a child is easy for divorce, but 12, 13 was tough because I was old enough to see what was happening, but I was too young to process the nuances of it. And through that, I really started to develop a negative outlook towards things. Now, I wouldn't say that's the catalyst for where my life started spiraling downhill, but it was definitely one of the data points I can look back at now and be like, this started to change the way I viewed the world. I remember the first time I ever got really intoxicated. I was about 12 years old. That's the first time I ever had a drink. It was this feeling of, I have arrived at a destination. This is the peace that I have been missing my entire life.
See, that's why I fucked your fat girl.
I no longer felt a overwhelming sense of inadequacy compared to my father's successes and my brother's successes. I never felt like I had to measure up to anybody else. I was an introvert for the most part. I was the guy that was alone in a crowded room. But give me a few drinks, I will talk to anyone. I think I went to 6 high schools total. Got into playing music. I was a drummer. I got into metal. Started screaming into a microphone for a bit, jumping around on stage. And that was an environment that was very conducive to my desire for and affinity with booze, because it was socially acceptable, and it was like, oh yeah, the crazier you get, the more outlandish people want to pay to go see you be even more crazy. So I can't tell you when it switched from being a party to an addiction, but I can tell you the exact moment where I realized, uh-oh, this is getting away from me. And that's when I woke up and my hand was doing this. I was waking up with cold sweats. I was waking up having seizures. Freshman year, I ended up in one of those troubled teen wilderness programs, you know, because my parents knew something was going on with me, and I made it about a week after leaving that program before I picked up a drink again. All these things that I said I wasn't going to do, that I inevitably crossed the line with. Oh, I'm going to drink, but I won't drink on the weekdays. Okay, I drink on the weekdays. And then it's, oh, I won't do cocaine. Okay, I do cocaine. Then it's, I won't shoot cocaine. Then I'm shooting cocaine. Oh, definitely won't touch meth, because I love meth. After I graduated, my mom and I lived in an apartment. Eventually, she was like, you got to do something. And I'm like, okay, thinking in my head, what's something that I can do where it's socially acceptable to be drunk all the time, blow lines of cocaine on the regular? I'm going to go to culinary school.
No, you got to earn them all. You have to earn it.
And that was my first taste.
You have to earn it, sir.
On my own.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, this is cool, but at the same time, like, I didn't earn anything. I didn't understand what the real world was. If I had gone to bed the night before, I'm in trouble to begin with, because I wake up and I'm in full-blown alcohol.
You getting blood for asking me that.
I weigh 92 pounds. My kidneys,
if you would like to donate,
young. I was very heavily involved with amphetamines, cocaine, anything that made people go fast. I was like, give me more of that. Using those substances, I would risk alcoholic withdrawal, alcoholic seizure, all that type of stuff. Yeah, it was a full-time job. I dropped out, drunk all the time, blown lines of cocaine, no desire to get a job. I didn't go to my grandfather's funeral. And I made up some excuse. I had a deadline for a job that I did not have because I had run out of uppers. I would have crashed on the flight, and it would have been a whole disaster. So I'm overwhelmed with shame. I have no path in my life. Screwing over whoever gets in my way, getting worse and worse and worse, more spiritually bankrupt day after day, getting sicker and sicker and sicker, all while the demon is getting louder and louder and louder. And every night, I would pray that I wouldn't wake up the next day. I prayed every night that this just end. My mom died when I was 21. It's hard to put into words because I wasn't there. Physically, I was there, but I loved her in a way that cut through a lot of these fallacies and being in activation. The people I felt closest to me in a way, they weren't speaking the same language as me. I'm like, please just ask me how my day is going, and they're like, why don't you have your life together? But my mother never did that. And it's sad that she never got to see me sober. Being what I believed to be my confidant at the time, I didn't know how to live without her. But I had a powerful experience with my mother after I got sober. I was able to go to her gravesite and tell her all the things I realized I had done to her and apologize. Shortly after that, I got a message. Turns out this is my biological half-sister, and she gave me my biological mother's information. So I book a flight to go up to the boonies of Washington State. I get there, we're in the car together, and she goes, hey, you want to stop by the liquor store? And I'm like, you bet I want to stop by the liquor store. This is awesome, right? Where my parents been like this the entire time. Then we get back to her trailer. She goes to the back, and I smell and hear something a little familiar. So I kind of peeked my head around in the bathroom, and it was just a curtain. And she's got a meth pipe. And she kind of looked at me and goes, yeah. And I'm like, I have arrived. I am home. I grew up in Los Angeles. Dennis Prager is my father. I was attending the White House, meeting presidents. And I felt more at home in a broken down trailer, hitting a meth pipe for my biological mother while I'm drunk. Being resentful of the life I have in LA. For me personally, there has to be some kind of biological component to this. I've met my birth mother my entire life, and we have the same two drugs of preference, meth and booze. So after a while, I did not feel good about how things were going with my biological mother and the way I was living, realizing that I was the only person to blame for my problems. Was it my father? Was it the fact that my mother died? It wasn't because of my siblings. It wasn't because of anything else. My problems were of my own making. And that was my rock bottom, because I